I'm going to call this meeting of the Leavenworth Board of Zoning Appeals to order. We do have a quorum this evening. So the first item that we'll be considering is the approval of the minutes from last month's meeting.
Sir, I move that we accept the minutes as published currently.
And second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. We have no old business to consider. The first item on new business is 2025-18 BZA 2014 South 14th Street. We'll call that, and is there a staff report?
Okay. Thank you. So yes, the subject property at 2410 South 14th Street. So actually the variance is requested a variance from section 1.05 of the adopted development regulations to allow the expansion of a non-conforming gravel driveway. The subject property is situated in the R1-9 zoning district and contains a single-family home with a side-loaded attached garage. The existing driveway is lawfully established. Is a lawfully established non-conforming gravel driveway, which was installed in 1954. All surrounding properties utilize paved driveways consistent with the neighborhood standard. The continuation of the existing non-conforming driveway is permitted under the regulations, provided it is maintained and not expanded or abandoned. Abandonment would occur if the driveway is not maintained, requiring any new installation to conform with the current development regulations. The regulation strictly prohibits the physical expansion of any non-conforming use. So section 1.05-T3 of the regulation states that for extension, any non-conforming use shall not be physically extended, expanded, or enlarged. Such prohibited activities shall include, without being limited to, extension of such use to any structure or land area other than that occupied by such non-conforming use on the effective date of these regulations or on the effective date of any subsequent amendments. The subject property was sold in December 2024. Following the sale and prior to mid-July of 2025, the non-conforming driveway was expanded. The expansion included widening the entrance at 14th Street, which extends over the property line to the south, and expanding westward approximately 52 feet, widening the final dimensions to 23 feet. This action directly violates section 1.05-1.05-B3, necessitating the current variance request. So after notices were sent to the property owner, we did receive one inquiry about the property. I don't know if that property owner is here. I don't think he is. He was just asking about what the variance was for and if they are going to expanding it even more. Is pretty much all he said, I believe so, Sarah. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then for staff comments, for the 5 conditions or 5 criteria, A, that the variance requested arises from such condition which is unique to the property in question and is not ordinarily found in the same zone or district and is not created by an action or actions of the property owner or the applicant. So staff does disagree with this. The subject property is typical for the residential area or neighborhood. The desire for a larger driveway is not unique, and the expansion was an action of the property owner after the 2024 sale. Staff supports the continuation of a non-conforming driveway as it existed in 2024, but finds no unique condition to allow its expansion. Thank you. B, that a granting of the permit for the variance will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners or residents. Again, staff disagrees. The expanded gravel driveway off 14th Street extends onto the neighboring property to the south. Additionally, uncontained gravel will wash away over time, negatively impacting adjacent property owners. The gravel washing away, which is why Public Works is also against gravel driveways, is because it negatively impacts our stormwater system. C, that the strict application of the provisions of the development regulations, which The variances requested will constitute unnecessary hardship upon the property owner presented in the application. Staff does disagree with this. The development regulations already allows the non-conforming use, which is the existing, I don't know if this is not a very good picture.
You want me to pull up the previous
Yeah,
aerial while
if
you
you can,
keep reading?
read, if you could bring up 24, that'd be awesome. Just gonna bring up aerial and show you the existing one for 2024.
Oh, sorry guys. It's actually kind of hard to see in this one, but
Yeah, it just kind of curves
they're
there.
like that. I'll pull up the 2023, I think it's a better image.
So again, the development regulations already allows for the non-conforming use to be continued, which is that driveway as you see it there. To continue, strict application only prevents the expansion or enlargement of that use, which is a standard requirement for all non-conforming properties. D, that the variance desired will not adversely affect the public health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, or general welfare. Staff disagrees. Increase in nonconformity, increase in the nonconforming nature of the driveway exasperates its inconsistency with aesthetic standards of the paved driveway neighborhood. This adversely affects aesthetics and potentially the property values in the neighborhood. And then finally, E, that granting of the variance desired will not be opposed to the general spirit and intent of the development regulations. Staff disagrees. The intent of the development regulations is to allow the continued use of the existing non-conforming driveway, but to prevent its physical expansion or enlargement. Granting variance for an already completed expansion of a non-conforming use directly opposes the general spirit and intent of the regulations. And if you have any questions about staff report, we're here to answer it, and the applicant is here as well.
So the aerial view that you just showed before this last one, could you go back to that? Was that 2022?
Yeah.
So 22 is the same as 24. You just can't see the 24 because the gravel driveway is just kind of,
It appears to me that there is a rectangular area right at the curve as you're going, I guess that's west, just as you're about to curve. Am I seeing, is it just me, or is there a rectangle
here?
there? Yes, right to the left of that.
The-
There's a rectangular looking space to me that is similar to where the pad is in the
Do you
current
have the images
photograph.
from the?
Oh, like right, kind of like in the tree area of the
Yeah,
bushes,
go ahead
the
and go
brush.
back. You don't need to expand it. Go back to where it was, the same size it was a minute ago.
You seeing
If you go straight past the curve, it looks like there's a rectangle there.
You mean like to the west?
Yes, right there.
I don't.
So just a 90-degree angle, a turn.
it just turns.
Yeah. It
Yes,
just,
I see that, but to the west, I see shading area that looks like there was a pad there before.
Maybe try the 2018 aerial or something. We
Well, that
looked at
picture was perfect.
We looked at several different. We
Yeah.
didn't. It just was like a straight curve up, and
Yeah.
I think we have some photos from the real estate listing too
That's a fall picture
that might show it a little better.
Yeah, and it kind of hides it.
yeah. Okay.
So yeah, this was the real estate listing here.
Are there any other questions for staff?
I just want to make sure I understand about how the driveway was expanded or how it was improved. So as we're looking, I think we're looking right now north to south, and we're looking at where the old driveway was. has that been expanded then to the west per the picture that, I probably can't see it, I apologize.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
But anyway, it seemed like one of the pictures, it wasn't
this is what it
real
looks like
clear.
now.
And perhaps it was obstructed by the tree that's showing here without leaves, but probably had leaves then. But, so is that the expanded driveway? Or is the expanded driveway or gravelled area, is that where it appears to be a trailer? Or maybe it's two
Yes,
cars or trucks
That's all
are
the,
parked?
that's all the expansion.
Okay.
So they widened this here and expanded it back to the west.
Okay, so, I was curious, I mean, just from the pictures, it looks like that was just a city street, but a dead end. Kind of like what you might see around somewhere around the 20th of Spruce, in that big housing area too. They have a number of like dead ends in there, and so that's not in fact a dead end, that is a driveway.
This is what, yes.
Yeah, so where that silver car is parked was all grass yard space
Okay,
previously.
Yeah, everything past this.
okay, well, I think I understand that turn there going in toward the structure of the house, because I think that's an underground garage, isn't it?
Yeah,
That
it's a
it
side
services?
The side loaded garage,
Yeah.
And then, so then, that is a private car, privately owned car, yes, right there. So the driveway where it's been expanded is to the left or to the south, I'm sorry, to the west. Shame on me on my cardinal directions, but has been expanded then to the west, and has gravel been laid out on the, what might have been grass or turf then, which would have been to the north near the property, near the western property line. Is that all part of what we're talking about also?
I
So-
think he means up where those other cars were parked in the yard. Is that what you mean, where those other cars were parked in the
Yes,
yard?
yes, ma'am.
I think that might be a good question for the applicant. It kind of looks like it in that aerial. We go back to that one.
Well, it looks like, I mean, from that aerial shot, it looks
Yeah.
like grass,
Like-
but there's
like here.
at least two, maybe three vehicles that are parked there, so I wasn't sure, and I wasn't sure whether or not that, what we've, I think, established as is the expanded driveway, then I wasn't sure if that was the expansion and only that, or if in fact, then did that service a further area to the north, that allowed, and that appeared to be turf or grass of some sort that they were parked on. And I just want to make sure I understand exactly where the driveway is. Generally, its dimensions and its location. You see, here it doesn't stand out anything near the western property line there. But in several other pictures, there are several vehicles. And I just want to make sure, no, that's not the driveway, just vehicles were pulled up on the lawn. Yes, like that. The driveway, in fact, is restricted to what appears to be light gray or a tan colored, and that's where the rock or gravel has been placed to upgrade that ground to, at least in size and in quality, and use, or maybe not use, but usability, to be the driveway. Am I making sense? I apologize, I'm a little confused, as I just wanted to make sure I understood
Yeah, I don't
exactly
know
where
what
that
they've
is.
done back here.
Yes,
That's definitely a question for the applicant.
okay, I apologize, and I didn't want to, I don't want to insert any confusion here, I want to clear up any that I have. Okay, thank you.
And I did have a question, so I think when I was going over this, so it was mentioned that when the driveway was expanded, it did go over their property line into another property owners. I guess I was just curious to know how much over their property line did it go if,
We can't go out there and measure, but you can clearly see that it's over the property line.
That assumes those
And
lines are actually where the property
Yeah.
lines are.
But that's all we can go by.
And
sure, okay.
And we also do have a requirement that driveways be set back from the property line, so they
At
can't
least-
be right up on the property
Yeah.
line.
Right.
At least 2 feet. Yeah.
What, may I ask what the setback, required setback is?
At least 2 feet.
2 feet? Okay.
I'm good.
All right,
Thank you.
so we'll open this up to the public. Is there anyone that wants to speak on behalf of this application?
The applicant would like to make some comments through council, and she's also here to correct me or add anything else, but I'm attorney Amy Bateman. I represent Mrs. Copen, Jennifer Copen, who's, first thing I wanted to kind of correct in the record, and it was in the submission packet as Exhibit 3 to the submission was when this property was purchased. So I think very important point of distinction. I probably would have given the homeowner different advice if this had not been the case, but they did not create this non-compliant issue. Mrs. Copen did not put in this driveway. So I want to make that very clear. She purchased the house. It was a private sale in June of 2025. The previous owner, the purchase that was mentioned was done off of MLS in December of 2024. That homeowner, this is a very old home with a lot of issues, bought it thinking they would have a great project and very quickly discovered that was a little bit too much for them. And so did a private sale with Ms. Copen. I've shown to the staff just to support, again, the warranty deeds in there. One of the questions the staff had is like, well, it looks like you bought it for $10. Was this some sort of straw man? And I'm like, no, that's how warranty deeds are written. It's $10 in additional consideration. So there is a mortgage on the house for a significant fair market value of the home. So it was purchased private sale. It's a private mortgage with Community America. So I thought there's probably the most important distinction to make here, because this is not an ask for forgiveness sort of situation. When Mrs. Copen bought the property, she wasn't given any disclosure about the non-conformity. It doesn't appear that there was any citations before that in the time that the previous owner had put down I think in conversations with the previous owner, I believe he had put it down in February of this past year, is that correct?
It was probably January or February, so.
Yeah, shortly after he purchased the home in December 2024, he completed this project. So there's that. The other point in the staff report that we wanted to kind of distinguish or clarify, the only additional exhibit that I provided the board in addition to the application, the owner's statement, and the 6 exhibits we provided was the exhibit in front of you of, again, from GIS to talk about, this is not unique for Leavenworth. You see this in a lot of neighborhoods, especially in the, what used to be out in the country, a little bit south part of the city. This home was built in 1940. Every other home on that street was built between 1962 and 1992. So the average build date for the other 14 homes on that street is 1972. So this home was in existence for about 30 years or 50 years, in some situations more than most of the other homes on that street. So it is different. It was not built with a 2-car garage. It was not built with a driveway. So while the previous owner was certainly wrong in acting outside of the compliance of the zoning codes without asking for a variance, again, not the current owner, and understandable, and that it is a unique property on that street. And so nothing that would, and I believe there may be some other people here to speak to it or vouch for it, but it's beautifully done. I don't know if anyone had a chance to go and look at the property or the driveway, but it's AG3, it's on a base, it's strong gravel base, a strong aggregate. There is no runoff or washout, even with all the wind and the rain that we had in the last couple days, or since the time that Ms. Copen has owned the property. There hasn't been any degradation to the driveway as it stands. So there is that, and then to, some of the other points that were made in the homeowner's personal statement and provided with the application, this would be a significant burden and a cost to the homeowners at this point. To try to retrograde that to where it was in 1952, or 54, I believe, 1954, when the original gravel went in, that would be quite a feat and quite disruptive and probably cause even more problem and eyesore for the neighborhood, to try to take something that has been built up to such a strong base, a good aggregate, and then to have to remove it, grade it, somehow get down to a soil base again, then to sod it, and then to try and constrain that, I think it'd be nearly impossible with very significant cost of that, probably upwards of $10,000 to $15,000 to try to do a complete, to take this to go back to, again, the 1954 gravel footprint that was there. I think the board has already made this point, but the GIS images and the measurement that was done is, again, from a GIS satellite photo using tools, a ruler tool on a computer screen to estimate that. But I believe it was exhibit, let's see, I think it was exhibit 1 to the application. This is based on tape measure measurements on the property. So there is an 8-foot offset from the southern boundary to the driveway, and there's a 15-foot offset on the western boundary of the driveway to the end of the expanded pad, and it measures 20 feet wide, and that extension piece is 52 feet. That goes, again, to the west, what was identified in the photo. So I think that's everything else to offer. And this is a fixer-upper. Again, the last owner quickly walked away from it when he realized how much of an effort it would be. I mean, Mrs. Copen, since she's owned the house, has put in about $40,000 to $45,000 in replacing the roof, the HVAC, the windows, the siding. So she would really love to continue rebuilding this home and restoring it to, a better version of itself, and would ask for approval of the variance. If the board isn't comfortable approving the variance as it stands now, we'd be welcome to any other recommendations on mitigation or any concerns that the city might have in terms of some increased barrier or border that would, again, there's not been any observed runoff or loss of gravel, but if there's a concern with that, absolutely, if there's some sort of border or something at the end of the driveway that would mitigate that, we would be happy to entertain that if the variance is not granted in full.
Any questions?
Yes, ma'am. Can you repeat the size of the offset to the west, please?
To the west is 20 feet.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, it's 15 feet, sir. No, it's 15 feet. It's 20 feet wide pad that back, but to the western boundary, it's a 15-foot offset from the back from that western boundary of the property.
So 20 feet wide to the western boundary, and then a 15-foot offset between the end of the driveway and the property line to the
Yes.
west. And then to the south, there is has been an 8-foot offset
Yes.
from the driveway.
Yeah, there's actually a fence there. So the entire length of the property, there is a fence.
Okay.
So there was no,
Street view?
again, the lines, I understand what the photo shows it, but there is actually a fence,
Where the bushes are. To the left.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
You're talking about the fence to the south there. We're looking west.
Yes, so it would be the southern boundary, the southern property line, there is a fence there.
And you
They've
measured
not-
8 foot from their fence.
Yeah.
Yes,
That assumes their fence is on the property line.
yes.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here to speak either on behalf of this or against this request? Lady in the back, you just come to the microphone, state your name.
Good evening. Vanessa Reed, Leavenworth County Commission. This is in my county commission district, obviously, totally separate matter. But I'm also sixth generation Leavenworth. And I know sitting on a board is really difficult making these decisions. You have the legalities to consider. But the city of Leavenworth is getting a very bad reputation for being kind of anti-improvements. We have a lot of things that city staff and boards should be focusing on that gets neglected. And then good standing citizens who are trying to improve the city and improve the neighborhood seem to just get an unreasonable manner of attention. So I would just ask that if you have any way possible to allow them to go back to doing business as they were, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'm Robin Johnson. I'm nobody, but I'm a walker. I walk up that street on occasion, and the improvements of that property is immense. And I would just hate to see it shut down. That's it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, here we go.
I'm Jan Glick, and I was a walker, and I walked that a lot, and it looks so much better now than it did before. I would hate for them to have to redo everything. I walk in that area. I used to walk very regularly because I live about 6 blocks away, and it was horrible. I mean, that whole area is not up to par, but anybody who's trying to make it better should be allowed to do that. Thank you.
Anyone else here to speak on this? All right, well, we'll close the public hearing portion. Or public comment, I'm sorry. And any discussion from the board members on this matter? Is the limit to the size of the driveway a 12-foot width?
No. The width of the driveway, no.
No? I thought I'd read or saw something in here about it was at 12 feet before,
It was 12 feet before, correct.
and you're basing that on which photograph, or how did you come up with the 12
Just
foot?
the measuring tools. These measuring tools.
Just to confirm, the 12 feet was the existing non-conforming driveway that was grandfathered in? It was 12
Correct.
feet? Okay.
Correct. Yes, I'm.
Because I asked because I pulled some pictures from like 2013 and 2019, and you know, anytime you have gravel roads, they kind of go through phases where you can see the gravel, you can't see the gravel, grass is growing, the grass dies in the fall or goes dormant, and then you see it better.
Actually, that does look like a gravel driveway.
Yeah.
That, I mean, here. But when we see it here, the external appearance is a bit different.
And what I couldn't do with these is see how wide it was originally. But we're making the assumption that it was 12 foot. And do you have that photograph that you based that on?
We actually had measured them. And I was hoping it'd let me measure it, but it's not going to. Hopefully it was this one.
So if a homeowner has the driveway and it's overgrown, let's say it was at one time 18 feet or 21 feet, and as the grass encroaches on the gravel, once that happens, or they can't go back to what it was before?
Yeah, you have to maintain it. I mean, if it's, and the thing is, and we are pretty lenient with the regulations. If they started at 20 feet and, you know, the sides of it kind of, you know, washed away or overgrew, we'd probably let them go back to the 20 feet that they had originally. So, again, here, what they had originally is fine with the, which one are you going to? With the regulations.
I wanna try to get one of these older ones, because
You have to
even,
click off the other one.
which one?
You're on two of them. No, go down. You have to click off one of those.
Because even in some of the, like, really older ones, you can see it stayed pretty consistent throughout the years. If we could get this to load, but it's not loading. Because you can see that former driveway, which we consider non-conforming but legally established. You can see that throughout all of these years if we could get it to load. And it remained pretty consistent in size throughout the whole time. But I guess it's not gonna load right now.
What year was the regulations passed that
I'm not sure.
prohibited this?
I'm not sure exactly when that portion of the regulation was passed. The current development regulations were adopted in, is it 1967? Or, well, the original development regulation.
76, July
I think it's 67.
of 67?
65 to 67 era. So it would have been after the driveway was established.
Yeah.
So that's why we consider what was there before to be legally established. And we didn't have any issue with them keeping that or maintaining that as it was.
So the main complaint of the city is that they've expanded it
Now.
in width and then the additional pad at the end.
Exactly.
And if there had been a pad there, would that have been fine for them to put new gravel on it?
If it had been legally established there, yes. But
And somewhat maintained. I mean, going back to, like you said, like, you know, if it was a 20-foot gravel driveway in width, and it kind of slowly over the years deteriorated a little bit on each side, that's fine. If it is abandoned and overgrown, then no, you cannot reestablish it, even if it was originally established in 1954.
Okay. All right, any other comments or questions?
Have there been any complaints from any other property owners, especially the property owner where the driveway extends slightly on their property? Did they?
We just got the one
Okay,
phone call.
okay.
Strikes me is that if they reestablish from the baseline.
can you guys just make sure you speak loud enough that we can get it on the record?
Sure. Oh, yes.
Yeah, our
excuse me.
conversations are,
Sorry.
yeah, it's still recorded.
It just seems like we, no matter what we do, that the size of the setback or from the neighbor's property line to the south must be reestablished. Would that be a correct statement? In other words, the line we see may or may not be exactly accurate, but it's pretty close, I guess. But we know now that, I think,
And if they can, I mean, and we worked with homeowners before, if they can show us, prove to us where that pin is, where the property line starts by either getting a surveyor out there,
Yes.
just to, distinguish that property line. And if it is 2 feet off, we're fine with that. We'll just take that survey, we'll record it, we'll keep it with, not record it, but we'll keep it with our documents. That way, if there's ever an issue moving forward, we have that document in place.
Okay, but thereby it would be reestablished.
What was that?
That setback or the space between the property line,
Yeah, because the only thing, we have to go according to this.
yes,
We don't have surveyors on staff for the city.
I know you don't.
We have to go, yeah,
We don't.
we have to go according to what's
Well,
provided to us.
We do have discretion where we could require the applicant to get a survey if there is uncertainty. So in a situation like this, where it looks on here like it's really close to the property line, we could say, we need you to get a survey done and actually show us the exact dimensions. But we don't want to do that because we know how expensive that would be. Whereas like Michelle said, if they're able to locate the pins and, tie a string from pin to pin, we'll go out there as staff with a tape measurer and measure it. We've done that for other properties before.
Okay.
But we don't want to have to require them to get a survey, so that's why this is the best that we have to go
I
off.
promise you a survey would be in excess of $1,000.
Yeah, that's why we don't require them to submit a survey.
The way this curb cut was done, and I don't know when that was done, but that anticipated that there could have been a road that went, or a street that went through there.
That is actually where there was a vacated street at one point. So that curb cut was originally a right-of-way or a street that was platted in that area and was vacated.
Well, it would run into a house on the other block.
Yes, it would. That's probably partially why it's vacated.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So the paragraph that staff is wanting read into the record, is that the paragraph number 1, or is that the variances, the paragraph that begins variances?
That is the number 1.
Okay. So we're going to take up the criteria that's required before we could approve a variance. And to approve a variance, we would have to be in agreement with each of the criteria. The first paragraph reads, though, the applicant must show that his property was acquired in good faith and where by reason of exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape of this specific piece of property at the time of the effective date of the zoning ordinance, or where by reason of exceptional topographical conditions or other extraordinary or exceptional circumstances, that the strict application of the terms of the development regulations of the city of Leavenworth, Kansas, actually prohibits the use of his property in a manner similar to that of other property in the zoning district where it is located. So the first criteria, that the variance requested arises from such condition which is unique to the property in question and is not ordinarily found in the same zone or district, and is not created by an action or actions of the property owner or the applicant. So we will either agree or disagree with that statement.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
That the granting of the permit for the variance will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners or residents.
I agree.
I also agree.
I agree.
That the strict application of the provisions of the development regulations from which the variance is requested will constitute unnecessary hardship upon the property owner represented in the application.
I agree.
I agree.
I also agree.
That the variance desired will not adversely affect the public health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, or general welfare.
I agree.
I agree.
I also agree.
that the granting of the variance desired will not be opposed to the general spirit and intent of the development regulations.
I agree.
I disagree.
I agree.
So those are all of the criteria that must have been agreed to, so the variance request is granted. We can also consider whether the board may impose such conditions, safeguards, restrictions upon the premises benefited by the variance as may be necessary to reduce or minimize any potential injurious effect of such variance upon other property in the neighborhood and to carry out the general purpose and intent of these development regulations. So I think that we do have to take into consideration the neighboring property and how if this is in fact encroaching on the property line, and even though I think you're right, it's gonna be, it could be it's probably more than $1,000 to get the survey.
They could actually just do a borderline survey of that southern property line, just this.
Right,
They don't have to do an entire survey, they can just do the survey, the borderline survey, property line
Okay.
survey.
so is that a condition that we can impose that this variance is contingent on that? Getting that surveyed, and if it does encroach on the neighbors, that they would have to move that line north of where it's currently located.
Yeah, that can be contingent upon, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would propose such a condition that would require the homeowner to survey the southern border of their property there to make sure that the driveway isn't encroaching on the neighbor.
I would agree with that condition.
All right, if we're all in agreement, we don't need to vote on it, do we? Since everybody stated they're in agreement. So we would make that a condition of the variance.
Okay.
All right? So we'll take up the next matter, which is 2025-18 BZA. Moved on.
One other thing,
Yeah.
what's the time period that has to be accomplished? First year after this?
Well,
We usually give, about 60 days.
Okay. Just thinking in terms of the weather and the property and having.
Yeah, but to get the survey,
Okay.
I mean, they need to at least get the survey, I'd say, within 60 days.
yeah,
Yes.
And then, depending on the weather, I mean, again, staff would be willing to wait till, spring, if the weather is that bad where they couldn't correct it. We would work with them and wait until, spring.
Okay,
okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so.
I meant to add in there that, I was gonna say something about the comments that Ms. Bateman made about staff. I think you guys are doing a great job, and I know it's a difficult job, and,
It can be rough.
I haven't heard any rumblings about how it's a tough city to do anything in.
Well, we
But-
appreciate that, and we try to give our best true professional
Yeah.
opinion when we're doing our evaluation,
And
so we don't take
bel-
it personal.
I
We-
believe that completely, so.
I agree with you on that. I can tell you guys have a willingness to work with the public.
Okay, yeah.
So the next matter is 2025-21 BZA regarding 513 Maple, staff report.
Okay, yes, so the applicant, Edward Allen, is requesting a variance from section 4.04 of the adopted development regulations to allow a detached garage greater than 1,200 square feet. So the subject property is 2.2 acre lot zoned R1-6, which is low density. That should actually be high density. It's high density, single family residential district. With an existing single family home on the lot, to the north and east of the property. My apologies, let me bring this up so you guys can actually see it. There's one. And that's Nothing's coming, it's not even reading anything.
There's a lot of internet outages today.
Yeah,
so maybe
anyways,
we can blame that.
This is the whole property, I don't know if you can you see it?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
all this.
We had this in our packet.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Okay, so, okay, to the north and east of the property are single-family homes, to the west of the property is a church and Catholic school, and to the south is land owned by the church, excuse me, and one single-family home. Section 4.04 of the adopted development regulation states that for single-family residences, detached garages on parcels 1 acre or larger may not exceed 1,200 square feet. The applicants are proposing to install a 1,620 square foot detached garage with 120 square feet attached covered overhang, totaling 1,740 square feet for the overall size of the accessory structure. The garage will be located in the rear yard. It's up here. It's kind of over here. In the rear yard, where am I at? And will be constructed of post frame with metal siding and roofing. The applicant has chosen a design that is compatible with the existing single-family home with overhead doors that match the existing home and a matching color palette. The applicant is proposing a concrete driveway extending of the existing driveway, which would be in conformance with the regulations. After notices were sent out to property owners with 200 feet, staff received 1 inquiry. And did that person speak with you? Were they were just asking?
They were just asking what the letter was about.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand what it's about, so. Going to the 5 conditions. So A, that the variance requested arises from such condition which is unique to the property in question and is not ordinarily found in the same zoning district and is not created by an action or actions of the property owner or applicant. Staff agrees the subject property is unique in size for the surrounding area. It is substantially larger than the average size of a single-family lot surrounding it. And at 2.2 acres, it is significantly larger than the minimum lot size in the zoning district, which is only 6,000 square feet. Staff finds that the size of the lot is unique for the zoning district and that the request is not created by an action or actions of the property owner. B, that the granting of the permit for the variance will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners. The staff does agree. The proposed garage would be screened from view from the east and south due to existing vegetation. It would be set back 105 feet from the property line and abut institutional uses to the west. Staff does not find that the variance would adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners or residents. C, that the strict application of the provision of the development regulations from which the variance is requested will constitute unnecessary hardship upon the property owner. The staff, will not, or no, will constitute unnecessary. Staff agrees, given the size of the property, restricting the owner to the standard accessory structure size permitted in this zoning district would prevent development that is proportionate to the scale of the lot. The 2.2 acre parcel has the same area as approximately 15 lots, meeting the minimum 6,000 square foot requirement for the R16 zoning district. Although the applicant is requesting an accessory structure larger than what the code typically allows, the lot provides sufficient area to accommodate the request. Staff therefore finds that applying the same size limitation as would apply to a 6,000 square foot lot would create an unnecessary hardship. D, that the variance desired will not adversely affect the public health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, or general welfare. Staff agrees. The garage will be built with proper permitting and inspections. They'll be used for residential purposes and in keeping with the accessory use regulations. Staff finds it will not adversely affect the public health, safety, morals, convenience, prosperity, general welfare. E, that the granting of the variance desired will not be opposed to the general spirit and intent of the development regulations. Staff agrees. The intent of this section of the development regulations is to ensure that development in the single-family district is residential in nature and physically compatible with the surrounding uses and structures. The proposed structure would be compatible in scale to the existing home and the size of the lot. There will be significant open space left remaining on the lot and the structure will be smaller than the house. Additionally, the applicant is proposing a design that would be compatible to the house or complementary to the home. Staff finds that the granting of the variance will not be opposed to general spirit and intent of development regulations. And if you've got any questions about the cost report, staff is here to answer it, and the applicant is here as well.
All right. Any questions for staff? I don't have any.
I don't have any.
All right, thank you. Anyone to speak on behalf of this application?
Other than what Stan's I think she pretty much covered it.
All right, any questions that you might have for the applicant? I don't.
I do not.
Okay. All right, any discussion? No? All right. So, the applicant must show that his property was acquired in good faith and where by reason of exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape of this specific piece of property at the time of the effective date of the zoning ordinance, or where by reason of exceptional topographical conditions or other extraordinary or exceptional circumstances, that the strict application of the terms of the development regulations of the city of Leavenworth, Kansas actually prohibits.
Oh, I'm sorry, did you open and close the public hearing?
Yeah, I didn't say it officially.
Did you say it for the record? I apologize.
Yeah, we're closing the public portion of the hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll continue on. Actually prohibits the use of his property in a manner similar to that of other property in the zoning district where it is located. So the questions that we must either agree or disagree on, that the variance requested arises from such condition which is unique to the property in question and is not ordinarily found in the same zone or district and is not created by action or actions of the property owner or the applicant.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
That the granting of the permit for the variance will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners or residents.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
That the strict application of the provisions of the development regulations from which the variance is requested will constitute unnecessary hardship upon the property owner represented in the application.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
That the variance desired will not adversely affect the public health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, or general welfare.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
That granting of the variance desired will not be opposed to the general spirit and intent of the development regulations.
I agree.
I agree.
I also agree.
All right, so the request for variance has been approved. Are there any conditions, safeguards, or restrictions that anyone believes we need to put on this?
No.
No, sir.
I don't think so either. All right, so that is approved. And if there's no other business, anyone want to make a motion to close the hearing?
I actually have one thing to say before we close. Have we put the new calendar on the website yet? So we're working on our calendar for meeting dates for 2026. We should have that up on our website within the next few days.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll send it out to everyone, so you can
Perfect.
be on the
All right,
lookout
thank you.
for that.
Thank you.
Thank
Do we have a
you.
meeting next?
Sir, I propose that we close the hearing.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we're adjourned.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.